With the TRON Lightcycle Run rollercoaster within its final year of construction, we're starting to get a better understanding of the impact that this is going to have on not just the skyline of the Magic Kingdom, but also on Tomorrowland as a whole. And so let's dive into how Tomorrowland is changing to accommodate TRON, up next.
Hi there Waltineers, I'm Jack and this is DSNY Newscast, and I'm here today at the Magic Kingdom as I have a stacked construction update for all of you, all about TRON. So with that being said, let's get straight into it.
As since my last update in January, there's been a lot of progress, so let's take a good old-fashioned trip on the PeopleMover to get the best vantage point for the latest on construction. Beginning with what is easily the most distinctive design element of this whole project, that will have the single biggest impact on the aesthetics of Tomorrowland, and that is of course the attraction's canopy, or what is formerly known in story terms as the upload conduit. And as we can see, incredible progress has been made on the installation of the canopy, as it's now nearing completion with approximately 80% in place. But it seems that modifications have been made to TRON to make it better fit within Tomorrowland. As you see, the canopy over in Shanghai Disneyland uses a more bluish hue, whereas this one in Walt Disney World is using a much brighter white, which better complements Space Mountain as another iconic architectural statement on the horizon of Tomorrowland. And the reason why this has been installed in such a relatively short amount of time compared to the rest of construction is all thanks to the material being used, as this is not hard pieces of acrylic panels that need to be hoisted into place, but instead it's using a material called ETFE, which is a thermopolymer plastic foil consisting of multiple layers of sheeting that can then be stretched across the steel framework and pneumatically pressurized to become massive air-inflated cushions. And the benefits of this type of material is that it's robust once it's inflated, and yet easy to maintain and replace in case of extreme weather damage. But the biggest upside to this kind of material is that it's very translucent, allowing for 90% to 95% of light transmission, which is going to be critical for the nighttime lighting package. But obviously this is the sunshine state we're talking about, and so the ability to reduce the ultraviolet rays and the solar heat is also going to be essential, for which the ETFE material has a solution, in the form of a specialist printing method that's called fritting. And this is the process of printing a silver pattern onto the foils, as can be seen here in the underside of the canopy at Magic Kingdom with this microchip inspired pattern, which is obviously building upon the TRON aesthetic, that will then reflect the light transmission and reduces solar heat gain. And for those wondering about the lifespan of this canopy, well, Grimshaw Architects, who partnered with Imagineering to design all of Tomorrowland and Shanghai Disneyland, also used this exact same material and process to create the signature microclimate biomes within the Eden Project's indoor rainforest in Cornwall in the UK, and that's been open for over 20 years.
And then we come to something which I've been wondering about ever since it began its construction last summer.
And that's this mystery building over at the back connected to the elevator platform. And so let's play a game of what is the mystery building, with the options being sponsor lounge, restrooms, lockers, or gift shop. And the answer is restrooms. Okay, or what will more accurately likely be a set of restrooms. As you see, we haven't had it confirmed by Disney, and to be honest, why would they, as it's not very exciting. But we can work it out through deduction, as the lockers over in Shanghai are embedded around the roller coaster supports. There shouldn't be a need for a sponsor lounge in Disney World, as unlike over in Shanghai, whose sponsor is Chevrolet, the sponsor for TRON in Florida is Enterprise Car Rentals, and needless to say, you don't exactly need a sponsor lounge for rental cars. And so that leaves us with the idea of a gift shop or restrooms, and if we zoom in we can see that the door frames certainly do seem to align with the typical restroom formation. So with that being said, I know it's not very exciting, but it was still something that needed to be addressed.
But now that we've talked about the construction up above, let's now talk about the construction down below on the ground.
as finally we can see that the tunnel for the Walt Disney World Railroad is beginning to take shape, with these newly poured concrete walls weaving their way between the steel pillars underneath the attraction's entrance platform. Then on the other side of the attraction, near the Storybook Circus station, we can see that the curved roof paneling has already begun to be installed, giving us a preview of what this tunnel will finally look like. And all of this is a great sign of the overall progress of construction, as we've known since 2019 when this concept art was released, that a tunnel was indeed included within the plans, as after all the train's path is going to traverse straight throughout this area. And so it's important for the thematic integrity of this e-ticket rollercoaster experience that the sights and sounds of a turn-of-the-century steam locomotive don't disrupt the futuristic TRON aesthetic. Therefore, a tunnel was going to be a necessary requirement. However, what's interesting is that we can see that the tunnel walls seemingly have included window cutouts that will supposedly give guests aboard the railroad a unique glimpse into the TRON Rollercoaster launch sequence, similar to how the Walt Disney World Railroad does this for Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain as well. But then in terms of when can we expect the return of the railroad, well, testing was spotted on February 1st, and then on March 25th it was confirmed by Disney that testing had been underway for quite a while. So with the construction of this tunnel finally taking shape and the beginning of the railroad testing, it's highly likely that for the first time in nearly 4 years, guests will be able to climb all aboard for a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom later this year.
But it's not just the railroad that's going to have to make changes to accommodate TRON, but also the highway in the sky as well.
As it's expected that the Tomorrowland Transit Authority PeopleMover is going to be receiving a brand new narration spiel, which will include a new segment all about TRON. And the way we know this is that on February the 18th, a voiceover casting call was put out by Disney for an enthusiastic AI that takes us on a tour of a futuristic land. But what's interesting about this is that the casting call makes specific mention to the AI being called ORAC, which for all of you Disney World historians out there, you'll be fully aware that ORAC 1 was the narration's character's name from 1985 to 1994. So considering this, it could be a hint that Disney might just be conducting a larger revamp of not just the narration, but possibly have plans to update the vignettes as well. However, that is just speculation on my part based upon the fact that Disney seems to be planning the return of the ORAC character as the narrator of the PeopleMover. But of course, none of this is officially confirmed by Disney at the moment, as all we have to go off so far is that voiceover casting call.
And yet another part of Tomorrowland that's going to need to undergo some sort of changes ahead of TRON's opening is this area over here.
As you see, back in December there was a permit filed for exterior facade modifications at 4950 North World Drive, which is the exact address of the Tomorrowland Light and Power Shop, or what you probably otherwise may know as the Space Mountain Exit Gift Shop. And sure, we don't know what the extent of these exterior modifications are going to be, but if we look at this concept art from 2017, we can see that the entrance to the store has been opened up quite significantly, and the themed hidden Mickey gears are also absent. Now of course it would be stupid to read too much into concept art, especially artwork from 5 years ago before this project officially broke ground. However, considering that there's an expected massive increase in guest flow within this area, something will have to be done to alleviate this pinch point right here. And so short of closing down the Tomorrowland Speedway yet again and widening the path by removing this banked turn, Disney operations are going to need another option. And the first solution might be just to remove the benches, planters and close these doors on this side of the building to have less obstructions to the path to the TRON Lightcycle Run rollercoaster. But I think that there's also a possibility that a bigger change could be made, and that would be to open up the other end of the Light and Power gift shop to make it a sort of undercover breezeway shop, as it would be easier to close a shop and make modifications to that than it would be to temporarily close the whole entire speedway for more modifications. But either way, I'm certain that something is going to have to be done to help alleviate the increased guest flow ready for TRON's opening. And so that is everything that I have for this construction update for today for how TRON is changing Tomorrowland. But stay tuned to DSNY Newscast, as I'll be covering all of the developments for this ride up until when it eventually opens.
But now it's over to you, the Waltineers. I would like to know if you could make any other kinds of modifications to Tomorrowland ahead of TRON's opening, then what would it be and why? And if you've enjoyed today's video, then be sure to give this video a massive thumbs up, as it really does help this channel out. Check out the other videos on the channel and maybe share this video with a friend. And with all that being said, I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.